Hi, everybody. This is Samantha Wilkinson from the Office of Instructional Technology. And today our virtual session is on finding and customizing digital activities. As an elementary teacher for many years and just new to this position now, I know firsthand the importance of creating lessons that help to build our students' digital literacy. But I also know the time that goes into creating those lessons. So, our goal for this session is that you will find some already made lessons and activities that you can customize and use with your students. We're going to explore a lot of free digital activities today that are all available on our class links page. And we're also going to show you how to distribute those activities in your Brightspace classroom. Why did we choose these resources? Well, there are a couple of reasons. First of all, they're all free. We have subscriptions to them through Anne Arundel County Public Schools. They are approved resources. They are also curriculum aligned and they are customizable. We also love that for our elementary kids, they are student friendly and very accessible for kids with lots of different needs. Our agenda today is going to start by taking a look at some of our in-house curated materials. So we're going to start with our Elementary Tech Connections page. We're then going to take you over to our digital takeout website. And following that, we'll head over to our Wixie creation tool. We're also going to pop into Discovery Education and see some of the already created activities that you can customize there. And we will end in Lumio, which is by Smart. Finally, at the very end of the presentation, I'm going to walk you through how to put any of these materials into your Brightspace course. Let's start with our Elementary Tech Connections. You can find this in the Instructional Tech Resources folder on the class links page. I'm going to take you there now. It's this orange folder. It's going to open up and it's going to give you four options. We're going to the second one that says ES Tech. The Elementary Tech Connections page was created for elementary teachers to be able to find resources to use with their students. They are created and curated by teachers in the county, and every summer we have teachers who add and develop these awesome lessons. They align directly with our curriculum, and you're going to see some examples here. So let's start off in our primary grades. We'll just head to first grade here. You can choose the grade, of course, that you're interested in. And you'll see that we have the four subject areas. For our purposes today, I'm going to take you into foundational literacy. And you're going to see here that we have all of the different topics that are covered in the first grade foundational literacy. We go into phonological awareness. You're going to see there are a couple of important notes at the top. So Tech Connections has a combination of lessons from many different apps. So you're going to see some things that will lead you to Discovery Ed. You're going to see some Smart by Lumio activities, along with some Google activities like slides and sheets. You'll also see some Wixie, and you're going to notice that it's set up into teacher resources and student resources. We also have included the I Can or standard along with these activities. So for example, let's say we wanted to do this activity, which happens to be a Wixie picture match. When you click on the link, it will open a new window and it will take you right into Wixie. You're going to be able to preview the assignment. This one has them creating a picture match, insert three pictures. Two of the pictures should rhyme. Have a friend identify the cards that do not rhyme. And then on the second slide, it has them sorting about which ones rhyme and do not rhyme. So if I wanted to use this activity in my classroom and customize it, maybe I wanted to add more than one card, or maybe I wanted to add an additional activity, the way I would do that is I would simply go to this top blue bar and I'm going to click on the Customize button. Since this is already linked to my Wixie account, it's going to take me into my editing mode. So I can change the title here. I can add text by using my text. I have the full range of Wixie tools. I can also edit directions that are already on here or add and change some of the images. I can even duplicate pages or add more pages down here. all of the Wixie tools are available to customize this project. Heading back over to Tech Connections, you're also going to see that there are several different web links to games. Here's one called a syllable hopper that's going to allow your students to play a game. Now, obviously, this is not a customizable resource, but it is something that is a ready to go activity that you can put into your Brightspace classroom that will allow them to practice this skill. So many amazing resources in Tech Connections. Remember, this is not just for first grade, though. We have every single subject and every single standard that you hit covered within these areas. I'm going to head back to the home, and we're going to take a look at a intermediate example for our intermediate teachers. So we also have third, fourth, and fifth. Every grade level is represented here. I very briefly want to take you down underneath where you'll see that digital takeout link again. We're going to head there next, and some other tools that you can possibly use that are templated. Let's take a peek into third grade. For our ELA standards, we have them by unit or marking period. And then within each marking period, they are categorized by teaching point. So almost every single day has an activity or resource for you to use with your students, even beginning at the very beginning of school. So here are some of the code of conduct lessons. We have tons of different options here. You'll notice that there are some icons that help you to see what app you're going to be led to. This happens to be a Google drawing. So let's take a look at that and how we can customize. Whenever it's a Google assignment, like a Google Sheets, a doc, or a drawing, it's going to force you to make a copy. And when you click on make a copy, it's going to create that copy in your Google Drive. So we now have the copy. I always like to change the name so that I know what it is. And I also like to move it to the correct folder. You can do that right up here on your toolbar. But here again, you get a chance to preview the assignment, write and illustrate one positive behavior choice that shows respect for myself, others, learning, or property. This is from those first few weeks of school when we are doing those code of conduct lessons in our literacy block. So if I wanted to use this with my students, I'm going to leave it exactly as it is. If I wanted to customize, I can use any of my tools to do that. I can double click and change the directions. I can shrink this box if I wanted to, or add a second one, but lots of options for customizing. I'm going to scroll down a little bit so you can see some of the actual literacy lessons as we go. Here's a lesson for teaching point 17, describing characters. And the character cake that they will be using in this lesson is available as a Wixie template. So while you could have your students working in their writer's journal or their reader's notebook, you can also have them do it digitally. And even better, you can give them the choice. This also allows for a lot of good differentiation. I noticed that in this one, this box has the instructions going outside of it. So if I want to use this with students, I'm going to again go to customize, and it's going to allow me to make any changes that I want to here. Coming back to our Tech Connections page, along the top, I can go to my different subjects. So I said that English Language Arts was categorized by unit and then by teaching point. Math is a bit different. When you go to all of our math resources, you're going to see that they are categorized by domain. Let's click on this fractions unit. So it's going to be up to you to know which unit and domain that you're covering. And then you'll come into Tech Connections for your grade level. Again, you'll see all of the I can statements that you can figure out where you are within this domain. And then there are so many ready to use lessons at the standard 3NF-A2, which is developing an understanding of fractions as numbers. I'm going to go ahead and choose another activity. This time it tells me it's a Google slide. This one's called Fraction Story. Sometimes it's going to force the copy, and sometimes it will just allow you to preview. You see I'm using the arrows at the bottom here. In this activity, the students are creating a book about the different fraction vocabulary. So they're introducing a numerator. What is a numerator? What does it look like? They can show examples. There's the denominating denominator. There's a battle between them. So it's really letting students be creative. And this would be an awesome option as an extension or some early finisher activity. So if it comes up in this um, display, the option you're going to choose to customize is this blue button, Use Template. Again, this is going to have us creating a copy of it for ourselves in our teacher Google Drive account. And again, I can customize this as I wish. Maybe I just simply want to change the background color. Anything I do in a regular Google slide, I can do right here and change and modify this for use with my students. Remember, later on, I'm going to show you how to get all of these activities from all these different platforms into your Brightspace account to share with students. So, Tech Connections is such an amazing place to go. It's always the first thing I tell teachers to look in when they're trying to find ready to go activities because they're curated by teachers like you. It could have been made by your teammates and they go right along with the lessons that we're teaching, sometimes even down to the title of the text. Very briefly, I also want to mention that we have a cultural arts section for our cultural arts teachers. So be sure that you take a look here for those great resources. I didn't specifically go into these categories, but you're going to find the same great stuff in the science and social studies sections of Tech Connection. You'll see that they are also going to be separated by marking period and then underneath by units. And if you click on those units, you're going to again see all of those different unit resources for students and for teachers. Now, if it's on the teacher side, you're going to know that you can customize those as well and bring them to your students. So definitely explore Tech Connections, one of the best kept secrets, hopefully not a secret anymore for our office. So let's head back over to class links and back to this instructional tech resources folder. We looked at elementary tech connections, but the second place I want to take you on this journey is to the digital takeout site. So this site was created by our office and it's digital templates that we can use in the classroom. So you'll see on this main page it's kind of telling you that these resources were created by our office. And if you scroll down, you're going to see some buttons here to link you. You're also going to have a toolbar here at the top. And I'm going to kind of take you through some of my favorites on the toolbar. The tools and templates is where you're going to find most of your awesome options. I'm going to quickly go to choice boards so you can see what we have living there. It tells you why you might want to have choice boards in your classroom. Most teachers know that giving students some choices something that's really important in the classroom. But you're going to be able to see a little preview of what the activity looks like. And you're also going to have a link. So let's say I wanted to use this movie themed assignment. I'm going to click on it. Sometimes it will take you to a website to download. Here's some directions on how to do that. And if you scroll to the bottom, we can open in slides. It's going to do exactly that. It's going to bring us to that template page that I talked about earlier. Once again, you can preview if this is the one you want to use. Now, I might want to swap out this Bitmoji for one of me, and maybe I don't need all of these slides, so I want to customize. I'm going to go to the blue Use Template button, and it's going to create my own copy in my Google Drive. Now, remember, I always recommend that you change the title and that you move it to a folder where you're going to easily be able to find it, especially if you're working on it and don't come back to it until later. Sometimes it can be tricky to find. So change your title simply by clicking here. And then I always recommend using this little file folder next to the title to move this assignment or activity somewhere where you can find it later. So here's where I can customize. Now that I'm in editing mode, I can click on each one of these slides. I can click on the text and change the text if I want to. I can change the Bitmojis if I want to, delete them altogether or add my own in. But this is where I get to customize that assignment. Coming back to the choice boards, you'll see that there's a ton of them. Keep scrolling, you'll find even more. Back at tools and templates, one of my other favorite places to go is our graphic organizers. There have been so many times I've spent more time than I'd like to admit creating graphic organizers. in a certain application for students to use when really they're all right here already done. And it may take a little bit of time to tweak them to be exactly what you want. But let's say you're doing a lesson on main idea and details, come right over to the graphic organizers template. Here it is. Click on the link. It'll force you to make a copy, or you can click on use template and you can literally edit it right here. This happens to be a Google drawing, and have it for use in your Brightspace classroom for your students. So many awesome things in here. Cornell note-taking sheets. We have Venn diagrams. There's also going to be some other links where you can find some great graphic organizers, but this is one of my favorite spots. Coming across the banner at the top here, we also have some amazing virtual field trip experiences that again are ready to go activities. Underneath of the virtual field trip collections, we have activities as follow-up. So let's take a look there. In our virtual field trip collection, you're going to find so many awesome virtual trips. Zoos and aquariums are really popular for our elementary people. I know that there are definitely going to be some cultural arts people who are interested in viewing these performing arts virtual field trips. Some of the virtual field trips take you to Google Earth, and some of them take you to zoo cams. Some of them take you to the website of that institution. Here's one on museums. So, if we can't get to any of our traditional field trips, we can go here. Let's take a look at the museums and galleries as an example. So you'll see again that you're in that preview mode. It's going to list the different museums that you can take your virtual trip on. When you see this red icon, it specifically says teacher use only, which means that you can project it in your classroom as the teacher with your discretion, but you're not going to give that link to students. If it doesn't have that red icon, then you're okay to share the link with students for them to work on independently. So let's take a look at the Air and Space Museum. It's going to take you to a link that will allow you to virtually explore the museum. And you see that there's a virtual reality tour, and there's a bunch of other exhibits that you can visit in an online format. If I want to save this entire museum slideshow, I again just go to use template. I can also edit this like I did in slides earlier. Then I can come back to our digital takeout website, and I can click on the second link under field trips, which is virtual field trip activities. And these excite me even more than the field trips because they're just so awesome. It's a way for students to be creative about what they've seen. So some thinking routines, the 3-2-1 thinking reflection after going on the virtual field trip. Perhaps you ask them to complete this set of Google Slides, which is 3 things you learned, 2 questions you have, 1 connection. Again, you can use this template, which will save it to your Google Drive, and customize these to change them up. We also have a great strategy, the Aeiou Strategy. Originally, I found out about this through Discovery Ed. This happens to be a Wixie assignment. So once you click on the link, it's going to take you to the application that you're using it in. And you'll pretty much know right away because of uh, the toolbars. So this one, they have to create an adjective, come up with an adjective, an emotion, something that was interesting, something that made them go, oh, or something that made them something they had a question on after their virtual field trip. Again, already done. Think about subplans too. This would be a great thing to leave with a substitute. As you scroll down, you're going to see so many awesome templates. Again, look how cool this one is, a Netflix template. When you click on the link, it's going to take you to a spot to then customize. So a lot of these have been Google examples. In this one, they create a Netflix preview screen for the virtual field trip that they went on. Again, they go to use template and you can customize there. So we've gone through some of our tools and templates, some of our virtual field trip options. I also want to take you to the More button, which gives us an expanded menu. You'll see that we have some seasonal activities. And I know for elementary school, we use these seasonal activities often. So we're in the fall. I'm going to click over to the fall seasonal activities, and I'm going to scroll down. It's going to give you some rationale behind these, and it's going to give you some really great seasonal activities for the fall months. So in this example, it's going to take you to Discovery Education. But again, you just click on the link. It's going to give you a preview of the assignment or activity. You can decide if you want to use it. This one happens to be about fixing punctuation for grades K to 2. It's going to give you a theme, an autumn theme, where each day you can create time to watch a short video clip, and then it's asking some questions and it's asking them to fix the sentences. This could be something you even project. You don't even have to assign this to students in Brightspace. It's just an already ready to go activity for you to have on your smartboard or on your screen. We have these for every season. And in each season, if there are holidays, we try to include all of those holidays. Please let us know if there's one we've missed and you have a great activity. We'd love to add it here. Really, really awesome resource. Okay, so the next spot we're going to go to on our class links page is Wixie. So Wixie is a creativity tool. It uses voice, images, text, videos, so many great things for students to create in sort of a blank canvas type of space. But of course, since today we're talking about templates, I want you to know that it's not always just that blank page, that there's actually a ton of resources that are already made and ready to be customized for your students. So here we are on the class links page. I'm going to head down to Wixie. In this main center area is going to be all of the projects that you are currently working on, but we're going to take a look actually at this top blue banner and the new button. Now, typically, if you've been in Wixie before, you would just choose either a landscape or portrait mode, and it would give you that blank page where you could create your own resources, and kids can do this too. But I want you to know that they have added some new options here, including organizers and books. So let's take a look at organizers, which again are already done for you. It's going to open you to the templates page and look at these amazing organizers that have already been created. I can't tell you how many times I want my students to do a brain dump and a circle map. And even though it only takes me 2 or 3 minutes to create a circle map on a Wixie, it's so much easier to have it pre-done. And a circle map is a pretty simple example, but when you get into some of these compare and contrast organizers, that's going to take a teacher a really long time to create. So going to the new button and then going to organizers, it's already done for you. So I just clicked on that organizer and it has brought it up for me in my editing mode. So again, I can change the title here. It's already having some instructions for students to do about adding text and images to compare. I can change these instructions by just tapping and editing there. I can also change or add anything I want to using my editing tools. And this is now in my project area. I'm going to go back to our home and I'm going to head to the new button again. This time I'm going to go to books. These are amazing templates. These books are available for students and for teachers to create some awesome activities for kids. And you can see all of the different books here. I'm going to choose this fairy tale book. I know that's something we used in 3rd grade. All I did was click on it. It's going to generate this book for me. So it gives you some text options. And this is something that you can assign to your students in Brightspace or right here in Wixie. And you can also add pages down here or customize in another way that you'd like. But it's giving you the basis, the beginnings of your activity and assignment for your kids to work on. So now that we know what the new button offers, I want to take you to your menu here on the left-hand side. Up here is going to be all the projects that you're working on. But in the second section, you're going to see some really amazing resources. There is an Anne Arundel County Public Schools section that we use mostly for tech connections. So all of the stuff I showed you earlier that's from Wixie is stored in this area, but you'll also see there are a few other folders that you might think are kind of interesting, like the elementary reading templates. There are some things in there that are pretty cool. There's also going to be a school folder that you can add things to for you to share with your teammates. But where I really want to focus for those templates that are already created is the curriculum and templates section. So let's start with curriculum. So curriculum is going to be templates that are made based on topics or subject matter. I'm going to show you a few that I think are really awesome. First of all, this ideas board is amazing. You'll see that these boards are essentially choice boards, but I actually often just look at them for myself as teacher inspiration. So here's one called Comprehension Ideas Board. And if I'm just not sure how I want my students to show their reading comprehension, take a look at all of these options. There are 3 pages worth of templates that are already created that I can use as a comprehension task. So maybe as I'm looking at this, I think, wow, this is pretty cool. I want my students to do a book bento. So I click on that one that I think is really cool. I see a preview of it here of an example of how they use the book bento box, how they're using images and dates and important words to describe this book. And then if I want to use this specific template, I'm going to click on the actual link down below, Book Bento. It's going to bring up a blank template with the instructions for me to use with my students. I'm ready to customize, so I'll just go to that blue customize button, and it's going to allow me to add even more instructions or maybe to get them started. Maybe we all did the same novel and I want to put the title in there for them to know what to do, but this is a really amazing resource for ready to go templates and activities. Coming back to that curriculum section, there's also really great stuff in the math folder. For example, going to look in this geometry section here. You'll see that there are some shape books. There are some things that have to do with symmetry. There are some assignments where they are transforming shapes. So many amazing options that are ready to go for you. Additionally, in this curriculum section, we have another kind of seasonal section called month by month. I'm going to click on September since we're at the beginning of the school year here. And you're going to see that there's all sorts of amazing tasks that aren't really aren't really separated by grade level, but that are more generic. And this is why the customizing is so great because you can kind of ramp it up or bring it down for your specific needs. So again, there's some great options like creating the classroom constitution, even just doing a comic book, some really amazing things in here. I also want to take you to the templates folder, which is exactly what it sounds like. There are going to be some really awesome things in templates. You could honestly spend hours exploring, but I want to take you to this general folder. And one of my favorites, if you scroll down a little bit, is that there is going to be a game board or several game boards here. I love this one called Game Board with Dice. Now, as a teacher, I can just literally assign this and maybe have task cards that are printed out, and the students are using this game board virtually to, answer task cards and move along the game board. But I could also customize this and add questions or information on each of these spots on the game board and make it kind of a more targeted game board for that subject. I also love this one because if you look here and click on that dice, the students already have a die here. So you literally don't need anything. It's ready to go. If I want to customize again, right here to the customize button. Oops. Heading back over to the templates, the last one I want to show you, even though there's so many I could, is again in this math folder. You're going to see all sorts of awesome resources already done. Coordinate grids. There are some shapes. There are going to be equation mats, number bonds, and then for some of our youngest learners, the 10 frames are going to be really awesome that have already been created for you to just use and customize to create awesome activities. Wixie is one of the best. I do want to show you when you're back at your Wixie home that a way that we're going to share this in Brightspace later on, one of the ways is that you're going to click on the 3 dots next to any one of these that you select for your students. So it can be one of the templates, it can also be something that you created in your projects, but those 3 little dots, you can then go to assign. Assign will assign it to your students in Wixie. So when they open Wixie, they'll see it in there for them. But if you can share it in Brightspace as well, of course, our office is advocating for that. So you can click on this share button and you're going to grab this link. We're going to use that link later on in Brightspace. The next place I want to take you on our journey is to Discovery Education, which has some really great ready to use activities. And a lot of people think of Discovery Ed as just a place to find videos, and it's so much more than that. So let's head on over to class links, find Discovery Education. And when you open it, it should bring you to your teacher dashboard area. Here along the top, we have all of our menu items. We're going to head over to the Explore button. Now, you can certainly also search by topic up here and find some of these really great interactive digital activities, but the Explore button is, in my opinion, a better way to find those ready to use activities. In fact, that is one of the sections in this Explore area. They have quizzes, they have interactives for students to use, and this is the one we're going to explore today, the ready to use activities. So you're going to click on that section of the Explore area. And you'll see here that there are instructional activities that are ready to use on a variety of topics. So it's going to give you some featured activities at the top based on some of your past searches. It's also then going to give you some that they have recently added. And then it's going to give it to you by topics. So one of the things that I love about these is that they're so easy to use. Here's a science activity for our K to second graders. You are simply going to, oops, click on that. It took a second to connect to the internet. And it's going to open up that ready to go activity for you. Here is what this one looks like. It's about sharks. It's going to give them a thinking question. It's going to give them some information, a video to watch. It's also going to have them do some tasks like correcting the sentence and stretching out the sounds and thinking about different types of sharks and new vocabulary words. So, this is a comprehensive lesson that students can work on their own pace or that you could do as a class. Let's say I wanted to customize this. I'm going to go ahead and make myself a copy right here on this gray toolbar. I could assign it as is if I liked it. This would again assign it right in Discovery Education. It does not automatically assign it to Brightspace, but it does assign it in their Discovery Ed. And kids can access that by going to their own Discovery Ed account. But I'm going to customize, so I'm going to go to copy. And it's going to ask me if it wants to copy. So I'm going to say yes to continue. I'll know that this is in progress because it's telling me up here that this is in draft form. And now I notice that it's mine. I do also have some new options here, like I can add some things from Discovery, text, I can add quiz items, etc. I can also customize using colors and themes, and I can make teacher's notes as well. I can edit all of this. I can also just click right on the text itself and change what I want to change so that it's ready to go for my particular group of students. Maybe I even want to delete this entire section. I can do that here. That's how I'm going to customize for my students. Now, at the top on this bar, I also have these three dots where I can assign it in Discovery Ed to my class. I can also go to the share button and copy this link that I can then use in Brightspace. I'm going to head back to that Explore section of Discovery. And then I'm going to also go to that Ready to Use Activities section. Here it is. And we'll look at one more that I think is really nice. So scrolling down, you'll see there's all sorts for reading, writing. I showed you previously a Fix It, which is where they're working on punctuation that you can display. Let's take a look at some of the health section where they have some really great activities for social emotional learning and for general health. So I just clicked on that arrow to expand this. You're going to see that there are a lot of cool activities here. Discovering Your Happy, that happens to be a ready to go quiz. Here's one on Red Ribbon Week. So again, if I'm interested in exploring, I'm just going to click on it. These are ready to go activities. This one's on Red Ribbon Week. It's a virtual student field trip. What you're seeing is exactly what they will see. It's going to ask questions, have images. It's going to take you on a virtual trip. It's going to show you a video and ask you to do some different assignments or quiz questions. It's a full learning package. At the end, it tells them to create something in their journal. You could also have them do it digitally, but this lesson is ready to go. So I can either assign it right in Discovery Ed through this button. I can make a copy of it like I did earlier, which would allow me to customize what I have created. I would go to copy and continue, or I can get the share link to put into Brightspace as well. Again, when I go on to that copy button, it's going to make a copy in my account and it's going to give me all my customizing options. So the next stop on our little journey here is that we are going to be going into Lumio, which is Smart Notebook. And you can see here that when you get into your account from ClassLinks, you're going to have two sections at the top, two tabs. And we are going to be going to the Lumio Library, which you may or may not have explored before. So again, I'm going to go right here to Lumio by Smart. It's going to open me up to my teacher page, which I will sign into my account. It might take a minute to connect. And at the very top of this page, you're going to see that there's a tab called My Library right here. And this main page is going to show all of the things that I've made or uploaded. And then there is a tab called Lumio Library. The Lumio Library has ready to go pre-made lessons. So that's where we're going to be exploring today. The Lumio library here can be searched by topic, by grade level, or by subject. You'll see that there are going to be some featured activities for students, along with some collections. I love the emotional literacy collection since our focus is on social emotional learning this year. You'll see that these are ready to go activities. So one of the ones that I like is this bucket filler for our elementary people. When you click on the activity that you're interested in, it's going to show you a little preview. It's going to give you the instructions and it's going to give you some of the other templates that go along with this particular activity. And this one is allowing people to fill buckets with these little symbols. So you could use this whole group in your classroom on your smartboard. You could also find a way to use this where students maybe that they're typing in bucket filling things for their friends and placing them in. But that's a really awesome um, template. If you go, I just went to my back button. There's also some getting to know you activities in here. There's some on the importance of kindness, on self care. You see, there's all sorts of really great activities, including a ton of different well-being check-ins, which are really awesome. I'm going to head back to the main library to see some other great things. We even have a fall writing prompts. Let's check that one out. I'm able to preview again down here. It's giving them a space to create and it's already done for me. So let's say I wanted to use this one. I'm going to go to save to my library. And just like it says, it's going to be working down here on processing this. This is going to go from the Lumio library to my personal library. And that's going to be the spot where I can edit and also get the link to save for my students in Brightspace. So it's working on that right now. I can continue to browse while it is processing. Underneath, you're going to see some details that might be helpful. For example, grade levels that it's suggested for. And this is also where you can do some searching. So maybe I typed in the word fall. This would be one of the things that has showed up. Take a look at this great one too while I just saw it, the graphs. So many great resources. So it tells me that it's finished and I want to edit it. So I can press edit right from here. I could also just go back to where it said my library and edit it from that spot as well. This is what it looks like to edit in Lumio. You're going to see some of my tools here. Now, there's not as many tools in this online version as there was in the original Smart, but it's enough to be able to customize. So on each of these pages, I can also add new pages or duplicate the page or delete the page. So maybe I don't want this initial page here. I would like to delete that one because I don't want students to see that. I just want them to see this first opening page. And maybe I don't like what this first direction is. So I'm going to unlock it and be able to edit whatever this text is or change the size or the color. I can add images. When I go down to my third slide here, it's going to allow me to preview what this looks like for my students and what tools they're going to have to be able to write their fall poems. So that's how I can customize. When I'm done editing, I'm going to click on this finish editing, and it's going to take me back to the My Library tab, which is where all of these assignments are kept. Let's say I didn't have time to edit that day, I just saved it. I can always go to hover over top of the assignment and edit here. I can also go to these three dots to edit. I can rename this. And this is also where I can get the share link. The share link is going to give me two options. The first is that I can give a copy of this lesson to other teachers. And the second one is that I can give this lesson to students to work on at their own pace. This is the link, the bottom one, that I would want to copy if I am going to put this into Brightspace. The Lumio Library also has things for every topic that we're covering in school and amazing manipulatives that are already made for you in a really easy to use format, especially on your smartboard if you have one in the classroom. Here's a whole section on fractions. There are even some really great writing prompts and just so many cool phonics activities for all grade levels. All right, friends. So here's the $1,000,000 question. What about Brightspace? Now that I found all these amazing activities and templates and lessons, how do I actually get them to my students? Well, I've kind of covered in each of the apps, Wixie, Lumio, and Discovery, how you could assign it right within the app itself to your students. But in most cases, you're going to want to put it into your Brightspace classroom. So for students who are absent, they can access it so that parents can get a glimpse about what's going on in the classroom, and also so that your students can just have one central spot to get to all of their assignments and activities. So when we're working in Brightspace, we're going to be in our content area. And you're going to, of course, click on the unit or folder that you want to put this assignment in. I'm putting it in my practice unit. Then we're going to go to the Create New button. And today I'm going to be creating a new assignment, because I want to use some of these great things that I found for kids to actually do in class. So from here, this should look like any other Brightspace assignment that you create. Digital template, I'm going to call it. I'm going to give it a due date. I'd like this to be due next Friday. I can give some description here, my instructions. Read and complete the task. And now I'm going to be ready to attach or link the assignment that I'd like them to work on. So let's go ahead right here to the quick link. Insert quick link looks like a little chain link. And when I click on that button, it's going to give me several options. I'm going to scroll down to where it says third party. Now, if I had something that was Google, such as a Google slide, a Google sheet, a Google drawing, like some of those things I showed you in Tech Connections and in the digital takeout, I could do that through right here, a Google assignment. What this would do is it would create an assignment within an assignment. It would create a Google assignment copy for all my students to get their own copy of that Google activity. It's going to connect to my Google Drive account, and it's going to look really similar to what we just filled in. I'm going to make this worth 10 points. I'm not going to put a due date because I already put a due date on the Brightspace assignment. I'm going to give this the same title, which I think was digital template. I'm not going to include instructions because I already had them on the other on the other Brightspace page. And this is where I'm going to be able to attach all of those great templates that I had that I've now customized. So it's going to link me to my Google Drive account. It's showing me all my recent things, but I can also come up here and search my personal drive. You can see some of those great templates I shared with you earlier. Let's say I want to include this drawing for students to work on for main idea and detail. I'd select it and click add. It's going to attach it so that every student gets their own copy, and then I am ready to create. This will mean that every student gets their own copy that they can work on, and it includes it in the assignment for Brightspace as a link. You also want to make sure that when you are looking under submission and completion, that you change this to external tool submission. That's so students don't have to actually attach anything to turn it in. Right now, the default is file submission, which will prompt them to attach a file, but this is an external tool. So you want to make sure that you select that. You can also change how you want it to be marked as completed. So the learner themselves can say, yes, I am finished when they turn it in. It can be automatically marked as completed when you grade it on your evaluation or automatically on the due date. Now be careful in that one because if a student doesn't turn it in, all of them are automatically going to be marked complete, even if they didn't do it on that due date. So be sure that you are careful when you're selecting which one of these to use. Let's say it's not Google though. I'm going to also go to insert quick link to that third party subtitle to see that there are some other options there, including Wixie. When I click down here on Wixie, once again, it's going to work its magic and it has connected me to my Wixie account, which is where I can choose the templates I want to use. Let's say I wanted to do that really cool rhyming picture match. I simply have to find that activity and I can search it up here if I don't know where it is. I also have access to all those awesome folders. And when I find the one I want to use with students, I'm simply going to click use. Brightspace is going to work its magic and there it ends up as a link as well. So students are just going to be able to click on this and it will open up for them in a new window for them to work on. Same thing goes for discovery. Quick link. I'm going to scroll down to where it was saying third party right here. And you're going to see that there's discovery education. It's going to work its magic. Guess what? It's going to show me my library of things that I have saved. In this case, everything is saved in my content. And I'm going to be able to find where I saved those specific activities and link them here. So this section was on multiplication. It's going to show you my full menu. I'm going to choose whatever one I'm interested in adding and do it right through here. So let's say that I want to attach something that I don't see in my quick link options. For example, Lumio. I'm going to go to my Lumio assignment. Let's say it's this fall writing prompts. I'm going to click on those three dots and I'm going to get the share link. Remember, I want students to work on this at their own pace, so I'm going to use this bottom link and press copy. This is now copied to my clipboard. I'm going to go back to my Brightspace account now that I have this link copied, and I'm still going to go to the insert quick link icon. This time, instead of finding the Lumio title, I'm just going to go to URL, which is basically asking me to copy the website into this field. So for the URL, I'm simply pasting what I copied as the link from Lumio. And I know it's the right link because if I scroll over, it's telling me that this is a Smart Tech student share link. I'm going to give this a title. It's going to be the Lumio Fall Poetry. And then I have some options. I like to open in a new window so students can see it full screen. And now I insert. You see it shows up exactly the same way that our Discovery and our Wixie showed up, along with the same exact way that our Google will show up as a hyperlink, but it's just a different way of doing it. So when in doubt or when you don't see it on the list, just get the link, the shareable link, and share it as a URL. So now we've taken you through a lot of great digital templates and shown you how to customize them. I want to also tell you that there's plenty of help resources. If you love what you've seen, but you think you need a little help on one of the apps, please reach out. So again, I'm Samantha Wilkinson from the Office of Instructional Technology. There is my email address along with my great coworker, Carrie Lambert. We're both the elementary teacher specialists, so please reach out. You also have some in-house support at your school in the form of an e-coach and also some Brightspace champions who are happy to help you if you need it. So reach out to them. And you can also always go on class links to the big T, the Teacher Intro to Digital Tools link, which will take you to our website. And there's going to be application support for everything I've told you about today, anything in Google Drive, Wixie, Lumio by Smart, and also anything you need to know about Brightspace. Thank you so much for attending this session, and we hope to see you soon.